Yo, what's going on, lucky gamers? Alright, so we are less than 24 hours away from getting 1.6, and we're gonna have Getian Z, our first limited character in the game, as a lot of you know, right? So it's very exciting. A lot of things are gonna happen. Some of you are going to be really pull anxious, and I understand. She's limited, and you're like, she might not come back, but I want to give you guys another perspective. So I'm giving you a spoiler warning now because I know there's a huge amount of people who ignore CN. So this is I'm giving you a CN spoiler warning. And so here we go. All right, so with Jo, she is a limited character that is coming out. She comes out in 1.6. Right now, CN is 1.9, a couple weeks away from 2.0. Okay. And I know a lot of you are wanting to go all in on her. But then some of you might not know about Lucy, some of you might not have seen Lucy, which I completely understand. But it's not just the limited characters that I want you guys to worry about. When you go all in one character, you're of course saying putting portraits into this character is more valuable than putting portraits, or not portraits, but getting a copy of another character. All right, for some of you who might not know, there are crazy characters coming out after Jo, okay? So you have Getian. He is a reality support who puts up what's going to be called a domain, as you saw, right? This is going to be a damage dealt effect that I know a lot of people are saying like, oh, well, I'll just use Necrologist. See, the thing is that Getian, his array or his domain can be used with other damage dealt buffers, right? So saying that you'll just use Necrologist instead of him, you can actually use him with like another damage dealt buffer. Like you can use him and Anna and Lee together, or if you really want, you could use him and Necrologist together, but I really wouldn't recommend that as much. But what I'm saying is like you can combine him with another damage dealt buffer that comes out. So I wouldn't just discredit him too much. Now he is limited to reality, but reality damage is one of the stronger damage types when it comes to how many people it can fit with, right? So a lot of people say like, okay, well, reality damage buffer is limiting. Well, you have Spadadea, you have Getian Z, Isolde, Simmel doesn't really go with Getian, Anna and Lee, Babel, Lucy herself, you have Shemaine, you have A-Knight, Jessica, Lilia, Desert Flannel, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of reality damage characters that are strong. Like, most of the reality damage characters are like in high tiers. So, you know, that is something to consider. So after Getian, we have 1.7. Who comes out in 1.7? Isolde. Isolde is a burn like meta character who does passive follow-up, and a lot of people feel like she needs burn to be used. Well, if you use her, you will find out that she makes everybody on her team apply burn. So she doesn't really, like, a lot of people think that she needs Spadadea. No, Spadadea needs her. Isolde can work on her own with any teammates that she has. She also can give other buffs, as well as in like incantation might, rousing morale, and then just the fact of her having a follow-up that can happen every other turn once you get her ramped up is really nice. So don't discredit her. Yes, her buff does reality defense and crit defense, but that reality defense is such a small portion of her kit that you can almost ignore it for most content. Like, don't let that reality defense part limit you and be like, oh, she can only be used with reality teams. No, Isolde can go with anybody. Okay, she can go with anybody, promise you. Okay, and then after Isolde, we get Marcus. Now, Marcus, when it comes to plant DPS, right, she's gonna be the easiest character to really use in the planting. Now, she comes before her healer drops, but Marcus is a character that just can use 2-star, 3-star incantations really quick and really fast. Now, she does have a part of her kit that limits her with the team that she wants to be on, where she wants to be on with plant or spirit or intellect, right? But let's really think about it, right? So Some might say like, oh, I don't like Marcus because her team is limiting. Okay, so Marcus can be used with 6 easily. If you got Isolde, Isolde can be used with Marcus. So those are characters right there. And Lee can be used with Marcus. Then you have Vila, who can be used with Marcus, right? Like, so Vila is the answer to that way you don't have to use Sotheby, right? On that team, you have other characters. And of course, Marcus dropped before we knew about Vila. So the thing is, what I'm saying is like Marcus's team can have like really good characters on it, and all the characters that I mentioned are really solid characters, right? It's like, of course, if you were forcing to put Sotheby there, you'd be like, this team kind of sucks. But no, like, you can put, and most of you have 6. A lot of you probably have and Lee. And then if you don't have any characters, if you have a Druvis, you can always put Druvis with her, because Druvis has the plant heal as well that really helps. I say plant heal, the damage heal for plant characters, but it's a plant heal. So you always have Druvis that you can put on the team with Marcus as well. So you have options, and plants getting even more. We have Getian coming up in CN, so like there's more characters that you can put with Marcus. And Marcus, when it comes to Marcus versus Jessica has to completely abandon the poison gameplay, really, because Sotheby just isn't the strongest healer compared to like Tooth Fairy and Vila. So like Jessica just isn't quite there. And Marcus, if you ever eventually get a copy of her, as like, you know, the game goes on, she gets really strong compared to Jessica. So if you're worried about investing into Marcus for plant, I assure you she is a very strong character, very easy to use, simple, is a very consistent character, right? All right, and at the start of 1.8 is where we get Vila. Vila is the new healer, really crazy character. When you compare Vila to Tooth Fairy, the easiest way to put this, okay? And this is how I'd explain it on my live streams and how I explain it to everybody else. Yes, Vila is a character that goes with mental damage DPS, but she gives crit rate and crit damage to everybody. Vila is going to be a character where if your team is solely focused on one DPS character, then Vila is going to work out really great, because all of the buffs that she gives goes for that one character. Okay, like everything she does is mostly single target, right? Her heal can target more than one person, but her buffs is single target. The Eureka Moxie that she gives is single target, right? And she really cycles around gaining her own gaining Moxie to be able to get into a Rasalka state. So you really want to give her the Moxie from her own card, that way she can cycle her ult a lot better. So she works with, again, having a hyper carry type of situation, like a Spathadia, like a Windsong, Marcus, right? Tooth Fairy really works with mostly if you're putting 37 on your team, you're gonna want Tooth Fairy there. Like, and what I say is like, because 37 is pretty much a sub DPS type of character, and especially when you have her paired with like Jodyang Z, like, or Isolde, or anybody who does follow-up, you're making 37 kind of like a sub DPS character. And now you have multiple characters that you're wanting to buff up on your team, right? You have multiple people that want to take that buff. So you have Tooth Fairy again, like, or if you're running something like with Shemaine, you're still using Shemaine, like anytime where you're having, or if you're doing 37 and Lilia, like again, if you're having a 37 type of team, or you know, a Shemaine type of team where you have like a sub DPS role, you have more than one character that's doing damage, that's where you're going to want to use Tooth Fairy over Vila, right? And since most of you have invested heavily into 37, or that's the team that you like, then that's where Tooth Fairy is still going to be that option for you, right? Tooth Fairy has rerun in 1.9, so I know her 1.5 rerun wasn't ideal, but hopefully in 1.9 they do her some justice, hopefully. But that's my input there. Now Windsong. Windsong is a crazy DPS who has an interesting playstyle. You can play it one of two ways. Either A, you could hog all of her cards and have her do a crazy showcase of damage, right? With Windsong, or you can just play her like normally and she just does like a crazy amount of damage as well, especially with the new tuning that came out in 1.9 that allows you to get an extra card. Now, a lot of you have probably seen the videos of her in her specific raid that gives her a lot of extra cards where she does a lot of damage, especially with extra portraits. She is a crazy character, which gives her a high rating. She is able to annihilate most single target situations and a lot of raids, and she's a really crazy star character. When compared to 37, 37 has no chance against Windsong and single target, obviously, because 37 is AoE. Windsong has a crazy, like, the fact that she can convert crit rate to crit damage, like, she has everything that somebody in her Afflatus would have wanted. But either way, Windsong is a character that's going to be very hard to skip for a lot of you if you're really wanting to go with a strong star character, right? So just saying, she's a crazy character. And then comes 1.9, the anniversary patch. Okay, Lucy, she's broken. She is stronger than this one here because, like, she's stronger and more beneficial to your account. As much as I like Joe, she goes from being the strongest character to being the strongest mineral once Lucy comes out, right? Like, because since she's limited, yes, get Joe. Don't get Joe P5 because all of these characters I just named are so good, and then you have a character like Lucy. Like, if you're free to play or whatever, just get P0, my guy. Like, the only reason why you would even get P1 is if it took you 140 pulls to get Joe, and you're just thinking like, well, I guess I might as well use a 60. But even then, that's a lot of pulls. Like, do not go for that P1. Don't go for it. The extra ult damage or whatever that you get on P1 just isn't worth it. It's not even the best, like, it's not even the best, like, portrait for her. It's not worth it. P1 here is not better than any of these other characters. I'm telling you. Like, Joe is great, but she's not skip characters great. She's just not. At least after her. Like, she's not worth skipping any of the characters after her. Okay? So, I'm just telling you. And with Lucy, you get tons of pulls to be able to get a copy of Lucy. P0 is good enough to beat a lot of content. Lucy with good supports can beat most content in the game as well. And with her being intellect, she fits into a lot more situations, like over Joe. But Joe becomes the best mineral character that we have, so you know there is that. So just saying. And then we're now waiting for Getian, who's going to be the new plant support. And so that's where we caught up to. Summon-wise, you don't pull for her, you get her. But if you're asking how good Summon-wise is, after using her, Summon-wise is insane. Once you can learn how to use her, or you have the right team for her, Summon-wise is insane. Of course, I have a God Ezra paired with her, so like it's a little bit different of an experience. But Summon-wise is crazy. Just saying, when you compare Summon-wise to Getian, like Getian is a safer buffer to use, especially in reality situations. Summon-wise, if you have a shielder or someone who can protect your team, Summon-wise is going to be better, but it is a risky way to go. Getian is a lot safer, but Summon-wise, being that she can do a damage dealt effect on the array and damage dealt buffs, as an ability, she can do every like damage dealt buff versus Getian just doing one of them with reality defense. So like Summon-wise puts out more damage like at P0. I have her P1 now. I have a higher damage dealt buff. Like she has up to 60% damage dealt buff on her array, and then she for the person that she selects, they can get up to a 40% buff, so she can give up to 100% damage dealt buffs if you have the health like and all that situated. But either way, we're going from like having like 40 to 100 is her damage dealt buff range with a single target, so it's still crazy. And that's not even counting like adding in anything else like rally morale or any other buffs. So attack buffs like Aganya, like we're looking at some crazy buffers coming up. But either way, all I'm saying in this video is that while Joe may be great, and I know a lot of you have a lot of pulls saved up, don't dump everything into Joe. There are crazy characters. I've been preaching it. Please go for having more characters and having portraits. They're not worth it for you if you're a low spender or free to play. So just kind of showing you like just the new characters. If you were to ask me like real quick, like what characters are the most important ones to pull after Joe, like how should I like save my pulls, you really want to target limited characters and intellect / spirit characters, because they tend to be the strongest of the bunch. Now they made the limited character an intellect one, but if you can target Lucy, Joe, and Isolde, anything else is extra. Vila is a great grab to get, but is not required. But Isolde is a very like Isolde is so good that she should have been the limited over Joe. Just saying. Just as a support, she's an insane support. But yeah, if you can get Joe, Isolde, and Lucy, just plan your pulls out from that, and you can really see who you want to get from there. Because after that, then of course the supports, like, you know, Vila, getting her, and then you can decide between Windsong, Marcus, Getian, the characters kind of in between all of that. But anyways, the video's been long enough. Hopefully you guys got to see something. Hopefully you guys learned something. If you have any questions about the upcoming characters, please either ask me in the comment section, ask me on live, ask me on Discord, whatever. I'll be able to help you guys out. Anyways, I'm Lucky Lux, Lucky Gamers. Have a good one. Lucky Lux out.